Okay, that's enough of that. Hello. Here we go. Right, I have been shirking somewhat, have I not? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And now I am intending to right the balance because we didn't get a Sunday stream because I was busy. Shock horror. But nonetheless, we are going to fill this time with what I would have done on that day, and that is have a look at this Glutton for Punishment. Now, I've listened to two good albums this week, one by Dose One and one by Elizabeth A. Carver, and the names I should have to hand. Actually, give me a minute, I'll find the names. We'll keep Glutton for Punishment up there just so that my search history is not revealed for all to see. I'll go into my secret document on my computer and see. Yeah, Dose One and Steel Tipped Dove, all portrait, no chorus. That is currently my best album of the year. Really good, very unusual hip hop. Yeah, but apparently Steel Tipped Dove has made tracks for beats for everybody, like Billy Woods and such. So yeah, and I've never heard of Dose One either. I presume it's Dose One, not Dosioni. But anyway, and Elizabeth A. Carver, who looks like is quite a new artist. Yeah, experimental, unusual sort of indie, with long songs, sort of chamber orchestral instrumentation, but also guitars. And just very, very unusual sound worlds, both of these. That's my third favourite album of the year so far, with Eusexuais second somehow. I'm expecting that to change as the year goes on. But there we are, that's how it is at the moment. But I haven't listened to this now. Annoyingly, I have a Heartworms t-shirt because I've seen Heartworms live twice. Have I? Maybe just once. Maybe twice. Opening for at least one band. Opening for St. Vincent even. And I have a feeling I've seen them open for someone else as well, but I might just have been mishearing someone who said that they opened for Last Dinner Party, because I haven't seen Last Dinner Party. So I don't know. But anyway, based on that St. Vincent gig and me just absolutely going mad for merch, I got this sticker from St. Vincent, which is a great sticker of a great line from a pretty good song. And I got a Heartworms t-shirt that unfortunately is not wearable right now because it smells. But had I had it available and had I thought about it, I definitely would be wearing it now. Just imagine a nice Heartworms t-shirt. I have worn it on a previous stream, so you can have a look at that one if you like. Anyway, let's have a look at our punishment then. A really short beginning track. Probably not too much to say, but let's see. Oh. Okay. So, big open space with a click at the beginning. Very windy, but also low pass filter on here, so not much high frequency, and it's ebbing away a little. Okay. Yeah, just fading down and down and down and down and down. Nice. Okay. I think we can listen to that again. The click at the beginning is interesting because it feels quite active. It seems silly to talk too much about a 40-second noise set of noises, but I will say this: the click at the beginning is active and like excited, high frequency, and then it just eats itself. Let's have another listen. Yeah, so there's that click, and it just reverberates. Yeah, and there is a descending in pitch going on with that as well, and it just gets overtaken by this wind and this sort of atmospheric, well, outside noise of some variety. Yeah, it could be like a busy street for all I know, but it's it's warped to such a degree that you don't get a real sense of place there. You just get this unyielding, dark atmosphere of wind. And then we're into the first track. Okay, so this has kind of gone in the opposite way. We had a very sort of dark, warpy synth doing this kind of thing, and then those higher ones came in. We're all sort of around, let's call it G sharp minor kind of area. Let's just check I'm in tune. Yeah, G sharp minor, and it's building up different synth layers at the moment. Those synths that came in, those higher ones, they're not just higher, but they're also occupying that brighter, treblier spectrum as well. It's echoed down an octave. Okay, and now the lower one has actually faded away, and we're left with this very shiny, shimmery, bright sound just holding a chord. I think it's basically there. It's not actually a very high chord, but because we've got that biting trebleness to it, trebly feeling, then it really cuts through in that higher frequency spectrum. Very biting. Okay. Okay. Suddenly this fighty, aggressive, power chordy stuff has come in. Sorry everybody. Yeah, family calls, you know. You might not know, but generally, if you've got a family, some things have to go first. The little ones, they have to go first. No, that's horrible. Let's carry on. Anyway, we were talking about the beginning of this. We've just suddenly morphed from some quite like calm synthesizer sounds, which nonetheless were ramping up in sort of brightness and bitingness, to suddenly some chugging riffage. It sounds like there's some drum with this and synth. It doesn't sound like it's guitar, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, so the drum is interesting because we've not got too much depth to the drum sound. It's quite a trebly thing as well, and it sounds a bit bitty, like it's been distorted. It's like a and there's a synthesizer just rocking out that low G sharp as well. And yeah, you can hear the melody coming through at the top. In octaves, of course. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so now we've come into our full frequency spectrum, kind of full band sound. The drums have become more varied, and we've also got a violin. It's a bit low for a violin. Maybe a cello then. Could be a viola, of course, which is in the middle. Little bit of melody, slow, long notes with this and this doop, boop, doop, boop. And yeah, really the main thing that's added here is the drums giving a more regular pattern in a 4/4 thing. There's also this kind of whoosh that goes across the pan, which I think is really a fun extra sound. Aesthetically very enjoyable. It's like a door on a spaceship opening. And all of this stuff sounds a bit spacey. So just variations on those three notes for that lower string instrument, and then there's also some slightly higher crazy sounding tremolos from another bowed instrument, probably a violin, that one I suppose. It could be the same cello, I guess. And just other slightly twinkly things coming through. Oh, we got a little bit of a drop there. A little bit of a drop. Let's hear it again. Not everything stopped. That bass, boom. Yeah, so like the main chordal instruments and that low bass boom, just drop, and we get sort of from the main melody cello, and then we get the drums carrying on, and roughly everything else disappears. Okay, surely this is the intro to the verse.
Run down a hole into the sun, shimmer of glaze, how you've become.
Very different. Shimmer of glaze. No idea. There's no lyrics, so I can't check. But yeah, very different texture all of a sudden. Quite a sad chord progression. Let's hear it one more time.
Run down a hole into the sun, shimmer of glaze, how you've become.
Okay, so there's a few different moving elements. There's that na 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 na, something like that up at the top. There's a bass, and the bass is sort of giving us our main chord selection, but then there is also a chordal instrument as well in the right of the pan, and that's doing something different. Let's.
Into the sun, shimmer of glaze, how you've become.
It's actually in the right. It's another string instrument actually, and my bet is on a cello now. But yeah, it pretty much holds this G sharp all the way through these changes from the bass, but then this one does that, so we get a little bit of extra melody just as we're getting out of the 4-chord sequence. But there is something else going on.
The sun, shimmer of glaze, how you've become.
I can't hear exactly what's giving it, but there's a F double sharp, nice, which means that it doesn't feel like that, does it? It feels like a diminished chord. So we get this kind of G sharp minor with that added ninth a little bit, and then that feels very much like a sort of E major 7. And then we come back to the G sharp minor feel, but now we've got a D sharp in the bass, so it's a second inversion chord. So we know it's going somewhere. And then we get what feels sort of like a C sharp minor chord. I don't think we really get that third in there, but then it sort of morphs into more of a with that extra, with the just for a short amount of time, going to more of a C sharp diminished 7th chord. Is that what that is? No. Yes, it is. Yeah. And then going back to the thing. The melody that's being sung is pretty simple. Just, I think it's 3 times of that. 4 4 4 3, 4 4 4 3, 4 4 4 3, 2 2 2 1.
All these years, still think of the time we made ties, then you were mine.
Yeah, same thing there.
Fast, how
Okay, another few elements have been added into the backing here. Yeah, losing the track of what's actually in each section, but when we moved to this verse, it felt much more soft and slow. The tempo wasn't changing, but the rhythmic movement of everything had calmed down significantly, and it feels like as we get to this third part of the verse, things are really more or less back where they were. Let's feel that transition. So, okay, we've still got a hi-hat doing the semiquavers, so it's not everything that's stopped. Okay, and then the second time we've got the kick and the snare come back in, and then the third time. So the third time we get that, so an extra bit of like counter melody, if you like, really just another melody going on at the same time. It's interesting because these are all sort of in different places. Well, so the melody as sung is going a little bit higher now. The bass is down there, maybe an octave lower. This one is actually an octave higher than that kind of thing, and then this one is the closest to the actual melody, but it's still close to an octave higher. So they all occupy their own spaces in the harmonic spectrum, and that allows them to follow somewhat their own weft. They don't need to move together to be heard or anything like that. Which is it's an interesting compositional technique, and it is probably used to a lesser extent quite often, normally for rhythm parts, really. Like you could imagine something here, like doing that chord. I don't know what you do, but you could imagine something doing a rhythm figure there, but we've got melody parts here all over the place, just doing not very wordy melodies, not very complicated melodies that insist that they must be listened to as more important than the rest, but they're still very much there, sort of taking from the foreground. And yeah, also, yeah, the whoosh is back in, the kind of thing.
How you begun, what you have left, stares at
There's also a doop 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 in the right ear as well. So there's one extra thing. And we're into the 4th version now, aren't we?
we were as one, playing a game, just another fun.
Yeah, it really is that diminished 7th chord there, which is fun. And that time it occurred right at the beginning. We didn't need to wait for it. Yeah, she's a little less strict with the melody, really. It's not just da 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 da, but sometimes we're going da 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 and da 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 da. So there's no strictness to what the melody is doing, but it is mostly operating in the same place most of the time, and it's not gone beyond the bounds of half an octave so far. Well, a 5th, I guess that's a little over half an octave. Wow, that's a weird melody. It feels like we've got the same chords now, but this is a very different feel of a section. There's some interesting production techniques, or just production choices going on here. The voice has, what's it taken on? Like, I'm going to move my microphone just in case I'm not sounding any good. It's taken on like a chorusy, a very, very heavy chorusy sound that makes it sound really unreal. Maybe there's a filter going on as well, but yeah, it's got this metallic sound to it now, which you might get from layering lots and lots of vocals, but it also sounds like that's not really what's happened. It's just one vocal gone through a chorusy effect. That's quite different to the cleaner vocals of the previous section. I mean, there's soaked in reverb, but not actually too much. But okay, no, there might be 2 because there's one in the left and one in the right. They could be exactly the same ones, but anyway, yeah, it's got that pan feel as well as this creepy chorusy sound as well. And yeah, we're doing more with the melody. Yeah, that's a weird one. Is that really what it is? That's so weird. Yeah, and the bass is doing the same as well. So so we're really playing into that diminished chord there. Maybe pushing it more towards, just with that last note, more towards what a D sharp major chord with a C sharp in the bass, so like a 3rd inversion D sharp 7 chord. You say, I don't know if that's there, is it? It sort of feels like it changes just before she gets to it. Oh yeah, it's really more of that, isn't it? But yeah, quite a weird chord sequence. You know, for a bass line, that's not too complicated. That could come up in a lot of things. Like in a 4-chord song, for instance, which had admittedly some slight interest in doing something unusual with the voicings, but nonetheless, there's nothing too complicated about that. It's also, what's that again? Come to the channels that are broken down. Yeah, bringing me back. So that 4-chord song, which is Snow Hey-O, sort of has a similar bass. Sort of. Not really, but anyway, you could imagine it doing something similar to that, but because we've got the sort of overriding G-sharp minor feel of it, it's going for much more of a classical feel, a chord progression, and I say that not quite as literal classical, but you might come across something like that in, say, Chopin. Anyway. Okay, and we don't have the weirdest moment that second time. And I think good in terms of weird, because that's an augmented, arpeggio, scale, which one? I don't know, chord. Oh yeah, and that's, I guess, not that, is it? Yeah, so this time we're really looking at something. Well, if you want to insist that there's like an E in there, that's like a C sharp minor 9, sharp 11, which is a pretty strange one to think. So I would see it more as that D sharp augmented 7 on C sharp is what that chord is, I reckon. Anyway, it's an unusual one, and yeah, this second time we didn't do the we worked it more down in the more conventional part of the scale that we've used in the verse as well, so pretty conventional as it goes. Okay, now we're back to something very similar to the first verse. It's lower key again, but it's not quite all the way back to how we began the first verse. And we've got that da-da-gut coming in at the end of each set of 2 bars. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, da-da-gut, da-da-gut. Yeah, which I think is a little bit tasteless, but it does keep everything moving forwards, and it is a very different texture to everything else, so it might redeem itself to me. So we don't have the string instruments in here really. We have that sort of haunted synth right up at the top octave, and then we have some slow attack synthesizers going wah, wah, along with the bass and just giving those chords. Okay, I shouldn't have stopped there because the phrase hadn't finished, but we're suddenly doing something totally different. We've been very soft with the voice so far. And here, I want to run. We're all the way up there. Giving that. A bit musy, really. Although Run is Snow Patrol. No, it's Radiohead. Run, 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 run. What the references abound, but let's not dumb anything down to what it sounds like. I've just realised that's almost all the way at the top. I think it's probably okay. Yeah. So that note makes the minor 9. We've heard that through this thing up there. that added ninth. And there it is now held really starkly. And then when we go to this chord, it's a sharp 11 held. Then again, when we get to the second inversion G sharp minor there, it's again back to the 9, and then we get a brief moment of it, I think, when we get down to the C sharp chord, which is kind of a D sharp chord. Okay, no, it does somewhat change just before we get that, but it would again been a non-chord note, so it's non-chord note in all of those chords, but it does resolve down when we get to the C sharp chord. Not to our normal C sharp chord though, so more to a C sharp minor chord, which has been insisted a little bit earlier as well in this, just once maybe. But very, very passionate and strong singing now. Very different to what's been happening before. Still over the same basic chord section though. Yeah, so that we go back to that 9 and then we come down. But again, we've had a lot, but it's still a non-chord note or a non-triad note for this E major 7 chord. It's the major 7, so it's sitting somewhere uncomfortable with the rest of the chord, making that sort of beautiful passion all the more tangible with the dissonance. Absolutely dirty breath. Who some people cannot stand breath in music, in pieces of music. Just I'm not gonna put you through it, but here it is again. It's doing the same thing as the wave there. We've also got a guitar in here doing some arpeggio kind of things, something like that. So that's a new textural instrument. I think it did come in slightly earlier in the verse. Interesting difference, isn't it, as well, between that run, which lasts for ages, all the way through one set of chords, and then the two phrases. Da, da, da. Okay, that one's not the shortest, but then this whispery one is very short in comparison. So yeah, we have that burst of passion, and then it sort of winds back down again, goes back down to the whispery, softer kind of thing, even further. Okay. Okay, so we've gone back to the chorus. I love this emotion. And that melody is happening in the same way as it was before, but the texture has really changed. We've got a lot of reverby noise going on. That's been pretty constant, but the drums have really dropped out, apart from so we've got this big opening in the middle of the, let's say, 2-bar sequence, where there's going at this speed, where there's like no drumming, no rhythm, apart from the melody. The melody is the only thing keeping everything going. There might be some instruments in the background as well, but it's very muddy because we've got such big reverby sounds, and especially that snare that hits on the second beat. Dong. It's like an explosion. Yeah, we do actually have a something coming through as well. So something keeping a steady beat. No, I do quite like no to say hello. Yeah. Like, some of the melody is very on the beat, da 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 da, but then there's little bits, no, da 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 da, which give a really different rhythmic feel. Okay. Breakdown. So this feels almost sort of what do you want to say? Sisters of Mercy influenced, really. This kind of dark gothic groove. Because I mean, yeah, we've just got the drums. We've got a held chord. And that's all that's going on. If this were 5 minutes longer, I would be, really jamming. But I imagine this is not going to go long and instrumental. I imagine we're bringing back a new section. Sorry, a section of verse or chorus. Let's see. Oh, distorted guitar. Okay, so this is kind of, it is like a sound exploration section, which is, I think, what a breakdown really should do. You should bring in some unexpected things, like the bit in. Oh, go on. I bet they will not sue, but they will not be happy. But let's have a look at Whole Lot of Love, shall we? So, this midsection. Whoa! Crazy noises! That's all I have to say about that. Whereas we've started with a very straightforward, riffy kind of thing, then we go, into absolute auditory hallucination territory. And this should do a similar thing, or it kind of is doing a similar thing with bigger bounds. Bigger bounds, definitely. But here it is. I mean, we've got that bright synth chord, and then the guitar comes in so distorted. Interestingly, lacking just a little bit of the low frequency stuff that I might expect from a heavily amped guitar. It's not really booming. It's got that brightness to it, though, hasn't it? I guess if you take out that, you avoid it being murky, and that is, especially in this kind of music, a real risk, so watch out for that. And they are doing real. Okay, yeah, I mean, we've changed the chord as well, I should have said. We've changed the chord sequence a little bit. Now we're starting on the first beat E chord, and then a C sharp minor chord, and then we get to the G sharp minor. All these chords might have not all the notes, they might be missing one or maybe two, but that's the basic thing going on in the key. And we haven't really strayed from the key other than to get that F double sharp, which is the classic harmonic raised seventh for a minor key. So that's we're well within our expectation bounds here, sonically, at least harmonically, if not truly sonically. But yeah, we just built up. I think we're going to have an extended instrumental here, which is very exciting. I do like those. So yeah, we've got some. So many things. Blah 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 blah. And what I don't like too much, because it's a little bit boring, is arpeggiated piano. It sounds like over the top, but we do have these kind of fun stabs of distorted guitar through the texture. We have a lot of ride cymbal, I think. Let's hear it. Yeah, we have a ride cymbal, and we have one high guitar bringing that G sharp through up the top there. So yeah, it's changed from quite a synth heavy texture to quite a guitar heavy texture and a band heavy texture here. Okay, I don't massively like it, but it's sort of a chiasmus melody. starting there. Da, 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 da. There's our B. If we start with ah, that's our A. Da, 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 that's our B. Da, 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 again, which is our B again. A, B, B. And then ABBA. Ah, I don't know. Da, 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 da. ABBA, or chiasmus, which is fun. Yeah. It's a nice bit. It sort of brings that first melody da, 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 back in it. So yeah, there's yeah. So definitely some arguments you can make for it, but I think aesthetically it's just not for me, and I apologise for being so picky. Okay. Intensifying. She's almost getting swallowed by the music here. Okay, and we did a slightly different melody there, but really getting swallowed by the music. Like, it feels like those wah, wah things are getting more important than that. So doing this, but it's so similar kind of thing, but in a different part of the harmonic spectrum, a different set of notes as well. Feels a little bit improvised, which is fun. It's nice because you're getting some real personality from the voice as well, whereas a lot of this is quite cold, even if it is inventively textured. A lot of these instruments are very cold and calculated, but yeah, that voice is giving us a lot more emotion, which is great. Extra synth sounds. It's so thick. Okay, interesting. There might be some more. But yeah, yeah, sudden stop of all the instruments, which you wouldn't expect really from such a propulsive. I always say propulsive. Such a pushing groove. You just expect it to go on and fade out, but actually there is a deliberate stop here for the end and the clarity of that final line. Now we have 14 seconds of this. Can it really be 14 seconds of fade out? Let's see. No. All I want to do is dance, dance, dance. Ah, and lovely. All I want to do is dance. We finish on the A sharp there. So I guess the last chord we had probably was that E. Dance, dance, dance. And the E fades away, and we're left with that note that totally didn't sit with the E in the first place. So we're really bare, left somewhere else, somewhere unfamiliar. Fun. Also, we came from all I want to do, strong, beautiful, strong voice, and then to the falsetto as well, which is a really nice change, especially at the end of the song, softening everything, coming really, really low down. It sort of reminds me of No Time to Die by Billie Eilish. There's probably more sensible touchstones there. That's really good. Annoyingly, I really need the loo, so I am going to pause, and I will be back soon. Oh no, pause. I'm back. Okay, alright. So, yeah, much ado. Oh, pardon me. Apologies. I only learned to burp a couple of years ago. And now it's just taken over my life. Okay, jacked. Okay, great. We've got another heavy thing. Yeah, interesting how we had that at the beginning. That didn't come back, did it? That never came back into the song. Which I think is always a bit of a cheeky move. I don't think it's very fair on the listener to have something exciting at the beginning of the track that then never occurs in the rest of the track. It's rude. And arguably bad songwriting, but whatever. There were some other things that were very good songwriting in there, so we'll leave it. But yeah, now we've got another fat, chugging, sort of power chord riff kind of thing going on. But it's, again, in synthesizers. I guess that could be a guitar. Yeah, lovely D minor, but with the E flat means D Phrygian mode. That's fun, dark sounding stuff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that boom, ta, boom, ta, boom, ba, da, boom, ba. Very, very strong. Oh yeah, that's Exopolitics by Muse. Which yeah, that has an extra one, I guess. It's probably some other things, but for some reason they're not coming to mind. Anyway, it's yeah, tried and true drum beat, but still good. And yeah, we've come in with this D Phrygian kind of feel. There's one thing going quite low, like down there. The riff is down, and then we've got a sort of echo of that up a fifth in the left ear, I think. It's sort of playing on harmonics, so it sounds almost like the seventh harmonic. That one, if you can do that. Coming through. So yeah, something weird in the left ear that's not very distinct. Okay, and we've now changed drum beat into more of a 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So more, even more tried and true, very different feel, despite really the only difference being that the snare is one quaver later. And we've got semi-quaver hi-hats back in as well. But interestingly, this feels like a more real kit. It doesn't feel quite as roboticized. Okay, that slow bringing off the hi-hat is something that I yearn for as someone with no real hi-hat in his life. Sad, but true. Yeah, you can't do that on... well, there's a chance you can do that on online samples, but... yeah, it's tight, and it gets a little tight, less tight, and less tight, and then it's open. And we had a nice... Okay. Big, strong minor chord coming through. Washy, yeah. Nothing is super clear instrument-wise here. But it could be a big guitar doing this kind of chord. Let me go down to a B flat chord. Now, neither of those chords indicate anything more complex than the Phrygian that we had expected from the D and E flat. But yeah, we'll stay on the D for longer, so the harmonic rhythm is a bit uneven. just going with those 2 chords at the moment, longer, 3 times longer on the D minor. So it's really, that's our main one, and then the B flat is our sort of change chord, bringing us somewhere else briefly and then bringing us back. Oh, what is this? That's not it, is it? Yeah. Great. Lovely bit of riff. And then we do something different. Yeah. Love it. Nice. Great. That's really fun. That's really fun. And it's all over the same D minor, so we haven't got the B flat even here. Great. And yeah, actually the big chordal instrument isn't in the background there. But that's so fun. That's such a fun, like, that's mainly just an arpeggio. If it did that, it would just be an arpeggio. We get the, that's our one bit that makes it melody, really. And then we get the same thing, but just a little bit of a difference, emphasizing that, that flat 6 there in the key, that B flat. And then we do the same thing again, but then we change the most boring thing about that, which is the rhythm. Ba da 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 ba da 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 da, which is, yeah, really good. Yeah, very impressive piece of riffage there. Yeah. So then we keep that, yeah, we keep that last bit, and that's going over with the B flat in the middle, in the end as well. Not B flat, it's there for even shorter amount of time than I thought, because it's basically, yeah. So it's just there for the last beat and a half, which is crazy. That's very, very D minor heavy. Oh, also this is no longer a Phrygian thing, is it? Because we've got the 2 there. We would expect, but we don't get that. We get the normal 2, the E rather than the E flat, and so that makes it, I guess, a bit brighter, but it's still pretty, you know, dark and down in the depths. Also that, again, giving us that chromatically altered harmonic 7th, bringing up the C from a C to a C sharp. Okay, fun. Again, fun. I'm not going to go over everything here, but it felt like something else was changing there, which was a little odd. I might have another listen. But yeah. So silly. But we're starting crotchets, basically. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 4. And then we go double time with the same riff. It's so fun. It's really as if someone's just tried to make something vaguely silly, but like it yeah, I don't know if it fits the dark mood. For me, it's just brightening everything up. Yeah. Oh, I guess it's because of that riff being in the background. So when this goes doo, 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 we've got a brief moment where there's an E flat and an E at the same time, a false relation, which is, yeah, really grating, really, like, you know, because it's funny, because it's not front and center, it's just there in the mix that these two things are just pushing up against each other, and you hear it as a sort of feeling of ominous tension in your stomach. Oh! This is great. I can't remember if this I presumably did hear this live. Yeah, what is that? We've suddenly jumped octaves. We were down, and then we jumped. Yeah, okay. So we were starting on this low D, on this sort of mid D. Now we're starting on the high D. What's going on now? Yeah. So. I mean, it's a little bit sort of caveman-esque. I mean, a caveman would never come up with it, but that's a bit harsh. But I mean, it's really like, isn't it? It's another Muse one. Hysteria. It's like the guitar solo from Hysteria, but it's just its own riff, and it's a good riff. And we've got that really present now, and the drums are doing like a disco beat, aren't they? With the I think it's a disco beat with the hi-hat on the offbeat each time, opening up and closing every single beat. It really has this dancey feel to it, maybe because of its association with disco. Oh, okay. So firstly, we get that, and we do get the same thing from the Muse song, where we go down to the C sharp there, and then we just sort of hold it, and we get lots more of that while this drops to B flat. So we get the B flat there and the C sharp, so it almost feels like a D flat. That this is a B flat minor chord, and then we're in tertiary shift territory. Some people, I think, call these mediant shifts, or something to do with mediant change. I prefer tertiary shift. It sounds nicer, and it sounds slightly less focused on music theory jargon, which I'm all for. Same thing again. Don't mind it. Yeah. So we're missing. Oh, this is straight on one of my favourites. We're missing that first beat after the. But where did it go? It's really fun. We've not had any lyrics. We're a minute and a half in. Maybe this is just a instrumental track where someone shows off on the guitar for ages, doing just really fun stuff. Okay. Well, best intro of this year. I wouldn't be surprised. That's so fun. So after that chord, you've got a few things. There's a strange kind of echoey thing, and the is still there, and the drums are still there, but everything else is dissipated, and we're just leaving that big reverb trail. Okay, and this is spoken. Spoken, quiet, complete reversal of what instruments are in. We've still got the drums, and they're giving us a beat. Which one is it? Okay. Boom, da, boom, boom, pa. So not like the beginning, not like just after the beginning, isn't it? And we've got the da 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 da, and we've got the ba da da ba da da da. So that E flat riff is in there, and the voice has no melody, so it's really sparse melodic landscape here. Really brings some focus to that voice and what it has to say, but not what it has to sing.
Kind dish tortini.
And again, we've got some strange processing on it, like a very fast echo, and that strange metallic chorusy sound as well. Okay, we've got the semiquaver hi-hats back in now, and we've got a bit of a guitar just screaming somewhere in the mix. Did we have a different length there? I'm going to have to listen to the whole bit again, because I sort of feel like we didn't get for the first time in these two tracks, we didn't get a sort of 4-bar / 8-bar section. Let's hear it again. Here's our first. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, we totally did. It just took me off by surprise because I was focusing on how we really had just held that D the whole time, all the way through there. It's quite an unusual thing to do. If you've got a riff going, it makes sense to keep it in the same place. But this riff is so in the background that it's subservient to the chord feel that is coming through in the reverb, and maybe on some instruments as well. Which is really interesting, really unusual. So that held tonic builds its own tension just by being held. It's the old Super Hands quote. The longer the note, the longer the note, the more dread. Sadly, an acoustic guitar can't hold very long, but this is doing exactly that. More dread, and then we've burst into still some D minor, but a much clearer, thicker texture. Clearer and thicker. What I mean by clearer is sort of brighter. Yeah, it's not necessarily clear what you're looking at with your ears, but you are at least sure that you are looking at something with your ears. We got some call and response, and There's Nothing Turns Black, and There's Nothing Turns Black. Both, I guess one's a lead, one is everyone in the audience. Again, we've got one that's clean and one that is heavily, even more so now, heavily processed. So we've got some really strange filtery stuff going on the echo vocals. Ooh. Just a chromatic line on the guitar there, filling that empty space after the chorus. Strange. Yeah, and one just... Is that a guitar? I don't know what that could be. It sounds very jangly, like a guitar gone through some strange processing. And that bass is still hammering out. So yeah, we've got some strange... This is off the beat as well. So loads of things, they're sort of connected, but they feel like they're pulling in totally different directions, and there's nothing unifying them. So this is a bit of a mind warp. Okay, now they're gone. And now we're back into a kind of verse section. She's really just having fun with this. There's a bit of melody there, I guess. And if the other one, you had to push me, it would be like... Nothing to write home about. That might be the first time that C natural has been used in this song. Sort of bluesy kind of feel. I mean, that sounds a bit trite to say that there's this bluesy feeling, but it's got the sort of how do you describe the kind of laid back acceptance of sad life? I don't know. Yeah, there's an element of just character that comes across with blues that I find it hard to describe, but this is getting that. Oh, it's something like Jaded, but it's not quite that. It's like, isn't everything pretty bad? Yeah. Okay, again, as we build and as that hi-hat comes out more and more open, we're up a little bit and we're giving an actual melody, again with an E natural, not an E flat. So really there's only one element and it's been here from the beginning. That bass giving that E flat and desettling everything else that fits very nicely, again, into a harmonic minor spectrum. Weird. I'm a sucker for a whoa. Okay. Something is just banging out B on the beat. Got some more of our B flat there. We haven't got the chorus this time. Yay! We got my favourite riff back. This time there is more going on in the background, actually. There's this kind of sort of demonic atmosphere going on in the background, which might be deliberately controlled, or it might just be other things moving and confusing. But I'm so glad this riff has come back, because this riff is really the heart of this song. I didn't care so much for whatever was going on with the words, frankly, but this riff is just my favourite. Yeah, same kinds of things happening. Yeah, really demonic stuff, like very quick, echoey voices, which are high, again trebly sounding, very little body to those sounds, very little depth, very trebly and just whirring around. Maybe some of them have been pitch bend, well, I don't know about that, but yeah, definitely some manipulations and yeah, they're sounding ghostly and weird, swirling around. Yeah, and it hits just like it does in the previous one. What is it that causes that? Is it as simple as that? Yeah, there's no the bass is almost swallowed before we get there, and then there's extra bass added as we get into this next thing, which really fills it out. We do also get the groove switch from the drums as well, so we go to that disco beat. God, subtle. It's quite subtle, the differences, but it really adds to that riff hitting so hard. I love it. Here it comes. Yeah. It's also really nice. Goodness knows what could possibly happen from this point in the song. It's also really nice that we have that suddenly very, very square drum beat, along with a riff that doesn't fit that at all. Boom, bada, ba, bada, ba, bada, ba, bada, ba, ba. Very much based on threes. We kind of have 4 at the beginning. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. How would you think about that? Doing da 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 da. Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So it's like, yeah, a 2 and a 2, and in the middle 4 threes. It fits the same amount of beats, the same amount of quaver beats, but they go against each other at every single moment until they lock just for that last time, and then for the first time, and then they're off again on their own things. So yeah, it just is infectious because it's not too complicated. You can really hear how they are interacting without much effort, and yeah, it's really satisfying. So what the heck happens next? Okay, we've got that descending riff again, but now it's played in power chords, and the sound world is just going crazy. We've still got the drums going, but almost everything else seems to just have washed away. The voices in the ears are back. I guess nothing turns back. Oh, so this is like the chorus again. It's like the chorus, but we don't have the middle vocal. So we don't have the one who says it, we just have the echoes. And we've just got that bow bow coming in again as well. So really going for like freaky demonic feel here. And a sudden end, maybe not quite as clean as it could have been. I think like reverb echoed a little bit longer, but that's very pernickety, not very important. Okay, Mad Catch. Well, that was super fun. If we get more of that, even if it achieves no further like sonic ground, I am very happy with that. Also, there's a bit of a similarity between this and the Ethel Cain album we listened to, we did earlier in this year. The sonic kind of, I don't want to say devotion, but this interest in atmospheric noise as an inference for mental health disorder maybe. And then that's maybe a bit cheap as an assumption, so don't stand by that. But yeah, the atmospheric noise and pressure and uncomfortability of non-tonal sounds pressing in on you, while then we also have manipulated vocals, whispering. Yeah, there's a big similarity there, but these are some let's say, well, they're less straightforward than the songs are on the Ethel Cain album, but they are more straightforward. There's no sound design pieces here, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So this is more of a straightforward album. The other one definitely has more of a strangeness to it overall. But anyway, moving on. Okay, based around C now, but okay, we've got some fun stuff going on. Simple hi-hat based drums. Again, sounds a little bit electronified. Something simple enough as a riff, going between octave Cs, and then the flat 5. What's that going to be? G flat and F. So a little bit classic heavy metal demonic feel, but that obviously played in a much more sort of glitzy fashion. And yeah, some crazy synthesizer doing something over the top, which is crazy. Which, yeah, I guess that synthesizer bit is another thing, like the vocals on Just to Ask a Dance and on Jacked, where we're getting personality. We're not just getting pre-programmed composition. So that's fun. It's nice to see that branch out. What? How did we suddenly change?
You'll complain about that.
So we were around C for that. And now we're back at D. Da da ba ba.
Complain about that. Yet you miss out the work.
Okay. Well, I thought we were going towards similar territory with that one, but now the reverbs have gone. We've got much clearer instrumentation. We've got a very tight sounding kit, doing a very straightforward, tried and tested drum beat. Simple enough guitar riff, something like that. We've got some bass in there as well, and we've got some spoken word lyrics. So we're not hugely far away from where we might have been. There might have been a synth in there as well, but the lack of reverbs is really noticeable and makes this sound much barer.
Draw your mental illustration of the world's inspirational hell and frame it well.
Yeah, it's interesting having a long line of words and then frame it well. I don't know. It doesn't really work for me, but I might just need to get to know the song. I have a bit of a problem with the way that the words are spoken as well, which I don't think is very... So I firstly don't think it's realistic, and okay, it might not be going for realistic, but I also don't think that the character delivered is in tune with the words, but maybe that's also not the intention. Let's keep going.
Later in the mirror, getting thinner in a till. Now this mess that you're in, fresh out of luck, making love.
It reminds me of Wake Up in the Morning Feeling Like P. Diddy, which let's not try that anytime soon. It's it's really sort of Kesha influenced maybe delivery, and it feels like it's really playing with it. It doesn't come across very serious, and that's a bit annoying for me at the moment, but we'll carry on. I think the guitar riff has jumped up an octave or something.
Makes you funny, that's the system now, honey. Well, that's the world well.
Okay, we did also have so we had, if we're based around D, we again had that E flat in there, which we've had cancelled. So we're sort of in the same conundrum here of having E flats and E's like we were in Jacked. They're just freely clashing with each other. This is a new kind of feel. That bass, yeah, boom, 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 boom. Feels very like, and you're not going to know it, so I'm gonna briefly play it. I'm pretty sure it's Scholars by Buchan Gase. Hey. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. I really like that album. But yeah, this feels a little bit similar just in this moment.
Funny, that's the system now, honey. Well, that's the way we'll do well.
Yeah. Again, we've got the same kind of harmonic thing that we had before. D is our main thing. Da, da, da. Okay, so we get a bit of A, but we get that B flat. Da, da, da. It's kind of in the same place as well. Da, 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 da. Sorry. Da, da, da. Yeah. Bam. Yeah. So it's... something like that. What they're doing isn't particularly interesting, but the textural shift is pretty interesting. The drums have dropped, the vocals have dropped, and we're just left with these really clear, not very reverb heavy instruments, and they're just locked in together, and they feel very, very tight and very close in the timbre as well as into the texture. Okay. Well, again, we've got that disco beat in, haven't we? And again, we've got a little bit of call and response from the vocals. It's not really exactly the same, but we get one phrase with a more clean vocal, and then we get one which has been mashed a bit, and I think it's been put through like a vocoder or something. So we got that whole chord there, D minor chord. Okay. This time it's not been called and responsed, just on the whole thing. Okay, so let's say that's the chorus. Again, not doing a tune, which I think is a little bit of a loss. I like tunes. Sort of amazed at tunes. And we've got a similar bass to what we had on the first track. It's just the same notes but in a different order. So if we've got, sorry, we're in D minor, aren't we? We've got 1, which is the D. Then we go to B flat, which is the flat 6, and then we go to that one, which is G minor, and then we kind of have an A major to finish. So a different 4-chord sequence, but one based on the same bass notes as we heard in Just to Ask a Dance. Okay, and we've gone to just bass this time. So we're really playing with thickness of the texture, which I guess we have been doing to some degree all the way through this album. But here, because we don't have those reverbs, we have less to play with. We have only the instruments, and so taking them out is such a big change. Got a bit of melody this time. Da-dun, 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 da-dun. Again, it's 3s against 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You know, it is. I can't necessarily play it.
You're tearing me along. Such misogynistic expertise, and you can't find it past resentment.
It's you know, in control. Very sort of deep sounding, almost operatic kind of delivery there to that. Such misogynistic expertise, I think, was the line. And then it goes, up. So, yeah, a whole lot of character, maybe more than I am comfortable with. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Incredibly dangerous. Riddled by democratic levitation. You're expected with high demand. I'll figure a way to forget it.
Yeah. I hadn't noticed that little bit of sort of choral vocal in the background. Just doing that long held note. Going at a moment's notice from the big sound to the tiny whispers. It's mad. Is it a catch? You decide.
You complain about that match made in a hat. Where's the magic in that? Where's the magic in that?
So this feels, very similar to the previous chorus. The drums are very high in this mix, I think.
Lost in the cover, catch a little lost lover. It's a mad load of cash. Where's the magic in that match made?
Yeah, so this time we're getting, again, more character. We're getting that deep kind of operatic character. What's the matter with that? She's got good breath support. Really good breath support. These are long phrases she's doing here, which are great. Again, we came down to nothing. We even just stopped there. And we didn't even stop on a sort of like resolution. Just an unexpected moment to stop. Ba-dum. So that's just holding down. Wow, can't find anything. And the bass is dum. And then we just come back. Oh. Okay. Yeah, we've got a weird kind of synth that's added in here. Simple enough riff that's now taking center stage. Very similar to the riff on the previous one, now I think about it. It's a little different rhythm, but basically the same notes. Come on now, you can do something different. Okay. That's fun. Yeah, so the melody is basically the same thing that the guitar is doing. And it's fun that we're getting some different to that chords coming through the vocoder. So it's like, yeah. Yeah, something like that. Sorry. No. Yeah, I think it's going between D minor and A, but that kind of clashes with what the bass is doing a little bit as well. So yeah, pretty discordant and unusual, freaky end. And a slightly different bit to just end. Oh yeah, we have heard that as well before. That was before the first sort of drop down with that E flat. Well, if I had written two songs with the same riff, I wouldn't have put them next to each other on the album. That's for sure. Not that they have strictly the same riff, but they are very similar. And it's clear to me which one's which one is what do you call it, superior. Yeah, interesting. Not such a fan of that one, but let's see. Extraordinary Wings, it did do an interesting thing with bringing it all much more under control reverb wise though. Okay, similar beginning to Jacked, isn't it? Bum bum bat, another tried and trusted. Okay. Okay, we've got some very thick, if slightly sort of jittery, like they've got a low pass. Is that what a low pass filter does? I might not actually be right about that, but anyway. No, it's not. That's not even what I meant, is it? What did I mean? A low frequency oscillator. Slightly jittery. String layer, there we go, I've got it out. Yeah, like thick orchestral strings, not just one string instrument like we had on Just to Ask a Dance. Yeah, where have they gone? Anyway, we've got that, and we've got this drum beat, which is pretty digitized, and there's something else which I've immediately forgotten. Oh yeah, some very soft, again lacking the sort of high frequency stuff, guitar chords, which again also seem to have a tremolo effect on them. Yeah, low, could just be that. Very low guitar chords. Just go boom, and then digga digga digga. They've got that sort of tremolo on them. And really the only thing that's moving at any kind of speed is that drum beat. It feels just a tiny bit swung. I might be wrong about that. Just a little bit, maybe. Anyway, yeah, I think we have F sharp minor, D, and then maybe B minor, and back to F sharp minor. But everything's a little bit murky. Nothing's moving much. So it doesn't feel very strong, those changes. And those changes aren't very strong, actually. They're kind of changing one note at a time. Between the F sharp minor chord, it's really only the D that comes from the C sharp in the F sharp minor chord that makes the D chord. And then to B minor, it's just the A in the D chord that goes to a B. So big chords, small changes. We've got a much sort of softer intro, strange kind of arpeggiated figure. Again, giving us F sharp minor. Strange sound. Could have been a keyboard, could be a guitar, but yeah, gone through some stuff. Yeah. And it's keeping on going with that, even when we've got the B in the guitar. So it makes that extended chord, and we have one moment there where that extra. If you want to hear it, rewind. But yeah, get that E sharp in there, which is, as it has been on most of these other tracks, evidence of that harmonic minor raised seventh. There it was just a normal E though. Okay. So yeah, so now a melody. Falsetto, which we haven't had much of. Starting with a jump all the way from that F sharp up a minor sixth. Quite emotive, quite powerful, and it's echoed down an octave in a guitar, I think. There's the same thing but over a different chord. We've got that. So it has a more resolving feel, yeah, I guess. Clever. If we've got there, that C sharp that we get to is the major seventh of the chord, but then does something slightly different before that. There, the C sharp is in the chord. So the melody has a really different feel based on when it comes to the second bar, and it is a soft dissonance, let's say, and then based on the fourth bar when it is a resolution. Fun. And it's the same melody. Okay, bringing out some of the instruments, bring them back in. Yeah, so a feature of this album that I'm starting to get a bit worn out from is the sort of breakdown, brief 1 bar, 2 bar stop, or bring some things out before then we bring some things back in for the next section. It's definitely a classic tactic for making your songs exciting, but it doesn't need to be done on every song. And if it is done on every song, it feels like a clear device as opposed to an effective element of a song, which is not the most clear distinction. I mean, it is always both of those things. Well, I'll come to terms with that argument at some point. Maybe I'll in a future stream. Who knows?
Teach me your logistics and to fly like that. You came to me so certainly. Now you're here and I like it like that.
Okay, so the melody is quite complicated, but is lower than that falsetto melody we've just got. It's basically between these two F sharps. Like it like that at the end and da-da at the beginning. It's soft. It's quite breathy. Yeah, and it's over the same chords. We've got bass sort of coming in and going from time to time. It's more of a interesting wave. If we see this as like a sea of noise, we've got this, maybe a fish comes in and out of the water before our eyes, and that's the bass, whereas everything else is just different waves going together and against each other. But yeah, nothing particularly to report here, other than just occasional other things that come out, like the guitar had one moment in that last section where it was there, just for a brief stint. So we are laying a sort of wall of noise as our basis, and then having occasional textural things coming through that. We have done this previously, but this one feels more impactful in this one because we're slower, maybe a little bit slower, and also the rate of movement is much lower from most instruments. It's really just held chords most of the time.
I don't have the time of day to tell you what I.
We've got a clarinet. Weren't expecting it, but it's there in the left ear. Maybe that's the thing that was repeating the melody in the previous section. Not sure about that.
Want to hear, that's why I cover both of my ears. Your intentions are that I fear. What came to you so.
Yeah, similar section, but we did have that clarinet in there, so it felt thicker. It might have been some other things making it feel thicker as well. It's really propelled by the drums and by the words. There are lots of words in this particular thing, not many held long notes. Yeah, interesting. And now the melody is changing. Okay, so the melody, it's going into that more passionate range, the higher stuff, and there's nothing else there in the texture other than the guitar, which after head, there's a guitar going bottom as well. Yeah, so it really is free to fly on top of this sea of noise, which we will keep referring to ad nauseum. Nothing else really feels like it's changed though, and this is a feature of these songs. They're not high on like harmonic change. It really is setting a mood with each of these songs that we stick to most of the time.
I can find to all or nothing into everything I say. I don't.
Again, that felt like it was not the right 4-bar length. Let's check.
That I fear.
Here we go.
What came to.
Also, I didn't mention, but there's a wah there from the thing. Again, yeah, Mad Catch started with some music that wasn't referred to again in the thing. Stop doing this. But wah isn't that. It's just an extra note from that clarinet, which is giving us the sharp 4, if you like, of the key. Crazy, random clash, and then. Here it comes.
What came to you so importantly?
Bottom.
The wings
So here's our second set of 4, or second set of 8. Here's our third, and our 4th. Okay, yeah, no. It's fine. I don't know why I keep getting caught off. I guess it's because I keep pausing it, but normally it doesn't bother me quite so much. Anyway, this is presumably a chorus we're going to now. It's hard to tell really, but I would say that's more of a verse. It sounds like a verse, doesn't it? Because she's not really giving it as much as she was before, and the da 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 is what we had in the previous verses. The melody is too changeable for my liking, because I think that when you are changing note with each word and you don't have a specific weft that you're going along, it makes everything seem like it's just off the top of the head, but not in an exciting or interesting way, not like a melismatic delivery. So you have to be really careful with that kind of thing, and I don't think it comes across super well planned here. Okay, well this is new. Interesting guitar part. Self-destruct.
Extraordinary wings.
Okay. Yeah, so just a slightly more guitar-led thing. We've got one guitar doing something like that, and the and then da 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 da. So everything's fitting very neatly in that section. Nothing is the locus of attention. Everything is taking its turn. Okay, this section differently. The vocals have taken on the melody that the guitar had in the previous section. I was born to follow, maybe. Yeah, we've done that twice now. Yeah, same thing 3 times and something different on the end. It sounded pretty Phrygian, and I don't think we've had confirmation about whether we've got that Phrygian note in there. Actually, I think. Oh no, we have, yeah, in that bit of melody that we did. So yeah, I don't know. Well, again, it wouldn't be unusual for this album to play with minor versus Phrygian, so that's a nice Furfia, even though it just feels really spoken as opposed to sung. But it's a cool resonance, regardless of the intention. Same kind of thing, but now our tyranny has been broken. We no longer have this. Yeah. Yeah, Punjabi MC kind of swung rhythm, drums. I don't know. It just feels like that to me. It's really on the edge, but it's not just equal quavers, is it? But it's not quite like a real swing. Da 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 da. It's somewhere in the middle. Yeah, uncanny territory for me. But anyway, that's gone. That's gone. And we've just got an open texture. Again, reverbs are king. We've just got the guitars and that bass coming in just a couple of times.
From view.
the bass is a lot drier than everything else. Dum, dum, dum. And it gave us that G. So it's again saying Phrygian. And then there's a synth that's just come in too. Again, the vocal is preceded by an instrument that uses its melody. Something like that. And so the melody then comes in, I don't wish doing the same melody as the instrument that has only just come in out of the texture. It's an odd choice. It's an odd choice. But it weirdly makes it comfortable that the melody keeps switching, which is another odd choice. Because we've had maybe one repeat of the verse section, but there's quite a lot of bits of melody that we haven't had repeated in this. At least not separately. And the drums are back, aren't they? The drums, though, we've again got more ride cymbal, so it's filling that space more than the hi-hat does. Really going the same melody 3 times, something slightly different fourth, and this has been something that happens kind of often in this song. But the fourth time here though is very similar. Da 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 da. We just get ending on that note. Da 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 da, which is a chord note, so we don't need to worry too much about that. Okay. Absolutely what should happen in such a situation. Yeah. 2 melodies at the same time. They don't overlap. This one's going in the middle here, on the B string if you like, and this one's going on the 2 other strings. That's really good. That's really good writing. Nice. Okay, the other one didn't keep to its admittedly relatively simple 2-note thing. We've got some more personality bringing out the high notes. Lovely B. Nice. Up to the C as well, the C sharp. Yeah! Okay, and we're coming down. Everything is fading away, even the drums. We had a nice sort of soft drum fill out there where it went onto the toms, maybe for the first time in the song. I've not been keeping track, but yeah, everything sort of faded slowly, and then we're getting presumably another Don't Wish Murder to end this one. Oh, but the drums are still there with that very bit crushed sound. Ending on the D, which we wouldn't necessarily expect. It's not part of our resting chord. And we previously have stopped that. I don't wish better, but it doesn't do that this time. We stop at the end of the whole thing. And we also went from chorusy vocals to just one vocal. We've played with that on every song so far, really. So that's fun. It's really becoming a feature of this album. Yeah. Well, what have we learned about Heartworms so far? Strong, characterful vocals, very varied delivery ability. Not ability, that's not fair, but very, very varied, deliberate choice of how to vocalize. Some whispers, some lower singing, some higher, some falsetto, some really strong impassioned singing, and some more breathy. So yeah, a lot of different things coming from the vocalist there. And I think Heartworms is a one-person project. Yeah, so it is really based around the vocalist and the guitarist, who they are the same, I think. And yeah, sometimes absolutely quality riffs. Big on reverb, but not always. Big on textural change-ups. Yeah, melding things together in unusual ways. Sort of distorting vocals and drums and guitars, obviously. That's what everyone does, though, isn't it? Relatively straightforward song structures, but with a lot of sort of minor breakdowns, and one longer extended breakdown which then came into a terminal climax. What do you call it? Is it terminal? Yeah, terminally climactic form, I think is what it's known as, when you get a different section at the end of the song that you haven't had before. Yeah. Like some strings as well, I guess. A fun selection of things, and not reinventing the wheel, as basically no one does. Why would you expect that of everyone, Seb? You don't have to do that. I'm sorry, everyone. You can do what you like, and I will just listen to it and tell you if it makes me happy. It has made me happy today, especially Jacked, which I'm very happy to hear many more times. Have a lovely day and life. See you soon.